Dobra, stream powinien działać, ale Dragonage nie działa. Niedobrze. Jeszcze raz. Gdzie to jest? Tu jest. Start. Dobra. Teraz będzie działać. Musi. No. Jeszcze to. I teraz będzie wszystko dobrze. Nie będzie dobrze. Teraz będzie dobrze. No i tak, autozapis. Bo gra postanowiła się z nienacka wyłączyć. Ale byłem tutaj, dobra. Myślałem, że to dużo większy kawałek drogi był. Nie wiem, po co ta skała, czy ona była w ogóle dobra, ale... Jak jej jest tyle wokół, trzeba nie zbierać. Chwila, gdzie jest to lepiej? Dalej jest to lepiej. Wow. Dalej nie rozumiem, po co to. Myślałem, że on chce to lyrium, żeby, nie wiem, je jakoś odznaczyć, czy cokolwiek, żeby mógł coś z tego wykorzystać, nie wiem, żeby pomóc swojemu bratu, czy żeby to zrozumieć, cokolwiek. Albo nawet, żeby zniszczyć wszystkie, jeszcze bym to zrozumiał, ale trzeba podejść i rozwalić jeden kryształek i koniec. Jaki to ma sens? A nie, to były tylko 3. Dobra, jeszcze jedno zostało w forcie Connor. Obok fortu Connor.
Inquisitor.
Jezu, to wszyscy już mówią Inkwizycja. W sumie był teleport bliżej. Czym ja stąd biegnę? Na tym za ziemią wszyscy mają.
Red Templars. Corypheus must have sent them here for some reason.
Pewnie po to, żeby było co mordować po drodze, a nie ciągle jakiś tam templariuszy i magów, których problem został już rozwiązany. ale to tak tylko. Ale gdzie to było? Bo ja tego nie pamiętam. To było chyba nie w tym samym forcie, tylko jakoś naokoło. Jakaś jaskinia? To nie. Nie martwi, bo nie pamiętam gdzie to było. Ale sprawdźmy najpierw sam fort. A, to jednak w samym forcie było, dobra. Okej, mapa zadań. Tu nie ma absolutnie nic oprócz zamkniętych drzwi, których nie mogę otworzyć, bo jeszcze nie mam perku, ale to w przyszłości. I to tyle chyba. Wszystko na ziemi oprócz tego zadania, ale nie mam jeszcze Palandarisa i nie wiem skąd go dostać. Znaczy wiem, chwila. Jak sprawdzałem to chyba tu jest. Ale to jakoś tam trzeba będzie zrobić. Tak, więc... A jeszcze trzeba było w Kreslu to zrobić i znaleźć wszystkie punkty. O, jednego punktu nie mam. Tylko wróć, bo ja muszę sprzedać to. Ale to w Kreslu mogę. Tu był, nie, tu był. Tu był sklepik. W ogóle cała twierdza, więc jakoś łatwiej się tam w tej twierdzy ogarnąć niż wracać do tej głównej bazy wypadowej. W sumie jeszcze tam nie wróciłem. Całą tą lokację zrobiłem tylko w niej.
Farewell.
Okej, właśnie. Najpierw, zanim ja zacznę to wszystko sprzedawać, ekwipunek, ja chcę zobaczyć, co ja w ogóle dostałem z tego. Mróz. I to, ale na 15 poziom. No dobra. Na razie tego nie założę. Ostrze Tidariona to jest też kostur. Tylko, że słabe. No daje 21 ataku niby, no ale to takie se. Topór. I ten topór może być spoko dla Kassandry. No, powinien być dobry. Bo nawet jakby dodać to ten topór będzie chyba robił więcej obrażeń. No i ma jeszcze inne, więc niech będzie, że ma toporek. Topór bojowy Arishoka. Nie, raczej ten... A, nie mogę tutaj, dobra, to już wiem dlaczego baza główna jest lepsza. Do tego. No ale to i tak było słabsze. No dobra, więc z tego mogę resztę sprzedać, ale zbroje. Dodatkowe zbroje zaklinacza. No fajnie, że ta zbroja jest lepsza od tego, co ma Cassandra, no ale cóż. Nie chcę tego, tylko chcę... A właśnie. No tak, tylko że ja mam magię i magia mi w sumie bardziej się przyda. Ale Dorian, co ma Dorian? Kondycje jakieś tam bzdury. No, to chyba bym mu to dał już. No, nawet niebieskie będzie. Dodamy to, a kapelutek... O, jeszcze siłę woli daje, no to też. Czy jeszcze coś było? O nie, jeszcze to już śmieć. Sprzedaj. I tak, to będzie dobre dla Doriana, ale nie teraz. To jest beznadziejne w ogóle. Byłoby fajne, a nie, nawet na 10 poziomie miałem już dużo lepsze rzeczy. Chwila, daje obrażenia obszarowe. Wróć. To nie daje obrażeń obszarowych. To może nie będziesz takie złe. Aż z ciekawości. Ekwipunek, broń. Ostrze Tidariona. O Boże. To jest po prostu broń do walki wręcz. Ja wiem, że to niby miało w nazwie ostrze, ale w sumie nie spodziewałem się tego. No to nie wiem, będzie jakiś miecz energetyczny czy cokolwiek to jest. Ale to i tak będzie słabe. Myślałem, że to ma na dystans te obrażenia. Ale jak to trzeba walczyć wręcz, to będzie bardzo, bardzo słabe. Dobra, sprzedaj, sprzedaj i wróć. Najpierw zmień. Fajnie to wygląda, ale będzie bezużyteczne. To zostawię. Sprzedaj, sprzedaj, wszystko inne sprzedaj. To też sprzedaj. O, no właśnie. I tu było sporo ciekawych rzeczy. Zapomniałem jeszcze o akcesoriach. 30 zwiększania skupienia. Nie chcę chyba zwiększać skupienia na razie, ale to będzie dobra rzecz. Znakomity amulet kondycji. Daje 10 do kondycji i to mogłoby być dobre dla na przykład Kassandry. A Kassandra ma w tej chwili zabije kondycję, po prostu jej damy. Te dwa odporności na ogień w sumie nie są mi potrzebne, bo zabiłem już tego smoka ziejącego ogniem tak po prostu, w sensie tego najgroźniejszego póki co. Znaczy najgroźniejszego. Tego, z którym sobie nie mogłem tak poradzić do tej pory. I on był odporny na ogień. I zionął ogniem. A ten drugi chyba nie zionie ogniem, tylko zionie czymś innym, nie wiem. Albo chyba błyskawicami walił. Więc to mi się nie przyda na niego. Więc chyba trzeba będzie to schować do jakiejś skrytki. Bo była taka skrytka i tam rzucę. Pytanie. Czy mam dostęp do skrytki tutaj? Pewnie nie. Mam modyfikacje, mam mikstury, mam towarzyszy, zbroje, broń, zamówienia, mikstury. Ale nie mam schowka. Chyba. No nie widzę w każdym razie, żeby gdzieś miał być. Więc trzeba będzie się cofnąć jednak. Mapa. Podniebna twierdza. No w sumie i tak muszę iść do tego stołu i tam wydać coś. Nowe operacje i tak dalej. Czy pytanie, czy uprzątnęli w końcu te śmieci stąd? O, zaczęli odbudowę. Dobra. Znałem. Pomocy. O. Muszę się stamtąd wydostać. Dobra, będzie można przez to przejść i zobaczyć co tam jest.
Apologies, but the
Ups, sprzedaj. O, topór łowcy smoków. I to jest broń jakaś, a nie... Komarów. A, to jest tarcza. Też byłaby spoko. Ale...
You'll have any requests
I can
and
go
the
home.
associated billing. Lady Inquisitor, Bonnie seems at your
A, to była ta
service.
Aurelian.
I trust good secret was in due course. Now that you've come to some good fortune, you deserve an upgrade. As master of the tradesman, I stand ready to supply your every need.
How are you doing? Good business?
Building, always building, thanks to you.
Who or what are the tradesmen?
A following of sympathetic and profit-minded individuals who promote local craftsmen and fair importers. A guild of sorts. Although that implies counter-affiliations we are not interested in crossing. Our purpose in the Inquisition is legitimate and honorable. You will have what you need at honest prices.
What do you bring to the Inquisition?
What you need, and more. It takes great coordination to make a remote location seem central. While there is no doubt the boutiques of Valroyo display the grandest of the grand, they do not travel. At least, not yet.
Segrit survived Haven. Where is he?
About? Doing good work for you and yours? But this position is now more desirable. It was time arrangements were made. I shall make every effort to prove that this is an upgrade.
Why are you a mere merchant if you're the master of this group?
I wish to avoid the suggestion that I am a posturing commander atop a structure of malcontents. It is better to remain active, hands-on. Do you not agree, Inquisitor?
We'll speak another time.
Of course, Lady Inquisitor.
Okej. Pójdę się jeden sklep. I to jest ten beznadziejny sklep chyba? Tak, z podstawowymi rzeczami. A tu jest pewnie stajnia. O, dziki jeleń. Duma arletanu. Dużo tego teraz.
Our mounts have never had better.
Stajnia. Jelenie.
Inquisition?
Dobra, mamy nowego jelenia. O, Blackwall.
This is just... it's something to keep their hands busy. I'm grateful you tracked me down when you did. As exciting as wandering the woodlands was, this is better. It's good to be part of something so important. Something that could change things.
I'm pleased that you feel that way.
Makes me sound like a Chantry sister, doesn't it? Some giddy new initiate. But so be it. I suppose you've earned my loyalty and girlish enthusiasm. You are who you choose to follow. Someone told me that once. Took me years to understand what he meant.
There's wisdom in that.
It was a chevalier who said those words to me. A powerful man, but never without honor. A true knight. We met as competitors in the Grand Tourney. He left me with that advice before we parted. Put aside his own ambitions to help me win the melee. I don't think I even thanked him.
Nie wiem. Blackwall generalnie ma jakiegoś tego questa z odszukiwaniem pierdół i za każdą pierdołę to on dawał tyle dostawał tyle punktów tych, nie wiem, przychylności, lojalności, nie wiem jak to nazwać. W każdym razie non-stop takie dostawał, że ciężko chyba go się pozbyć, chyba że jest jakaś decyzja, po której stwierdza, że on to wali i se idzie. Ale to nie wiem.
What is this grand tourney?
You've never heard of it? The Grand Tourney of the Free Marches. It's a spectacle. Song, dance, wine, every amusement you can imagine. But the greatest part is the contest of arms. Prove yourself in the Grand Tourney, and you can make your fortune.
How did he help you?
There were 100 men on the field, each one fighting for himself. The knight and I had forged an alliance. It was just the two of us, and we took all comers. The goal, down as many opponents as possible. He always let me deliver the final blow.
That was generous of him.
He said I stood to gain everything, while he'd lose nothing. When it was over, he offered to mentor me, to teach me to become a chevalier like him. And I, young and stupid, turned him down flat. I just won the melee at the Grand Tourney. I didn't need him. I should have gone with him. Perhaps things could have been different.
You're here now. A Grey Warden. It worked out.
I suppose it did, didn't it? But I'm older, hopefully wiser. And I think I've chosen the right person to walk with.
Dalej coś jest nie tak z tą twarzą. Nigdy nie zrobię tego, żeby to było dobrze. W sumie spróbuję to zrobić bez modów. Wywalę mody na te slidery wszystkie.
Deal of Antivan smoked cheese, and now 3 royals worth of crushed mint. They were right here. I remember seeing someone take them. I can't recall their face.
Mogę zmienić przepisy sanitarne obowiązujące w tej twierdzie? Bo to tak nie bardzo.
There's no end of it. I can store an army.
No i ja w sumie mówiłem bardziej to, co ja chciałem im powiedzieć, a nie co oni chcieli usłyszeć. Więc pewnie mogę mieć jakieś problemy. Łocie, jaka wielka książka. A ile tu czytania będzie? Widzę parwolę. No a w kwestii wszystkich innych towarzyszy, to nikt mi jeszcze nie uciekł i nikt nie próbował nawet uciec. Nie miałem żadnej, nie wiem, rozmowy, że on chce się stąd wyrwać czy coś. Więc chyba jeszcze nie popełniłem żadnego błędu jakiegoś krytycznego. okrutnie. Nawet prosto w twarz nie powiedział. A, dobra. Nie zapomniałem, o co chodziło. O Boże. Ale sam zamysł w sumie jest całkiem interesujący. Jeśli chodzi o pierwsze wersy. To się całość sprowadza do tego, że prawda nigdy nie jest obiektywna. Każdy ma swoją. Jej.
Word is the courts of Royale are full to bursting.
Distractions everywhere. No one has time for proper art.
Tu jest jeszcze coś. Dajcie mi to przeczytać. Czemu ty stoisz w belce? O, to jednak mogę tu usiąść.
Impressive, is it not? Fit for a leader, meant to show influence and the burden of it. It is where the Inquisition will sit in judgment. Where you will sit in judgment.
Who will I be judging exactly?
Those who have done wrong. You will know of them, at the very least. All this presumes they have survived their initial encounter with you, of course.
Still more lives in my hands.
You are a beacon of law, Inquisitor, as others retreat from responsibility. But this needn't be bloody. The Inquisition's sovereignty is derived from the allies who validate it. You are both empowered and bound. Justice has many tools. If their application is clever, execution may even seem merciful by comparison.
Lecimy.
Is there anyone I should judge?
Take the throne when you're ready. We will bring him before you.
Nie wygląda to
was
jakoś
a
dostojnie.
surprise. After you return from the bogs, we discovered this man attacking the building with a goat.
Co?
Chief Movran
Co?
the Under. He feels slighted by the killing of his Avar tribesmen, who repeatedly attacked you first. What should we do with him? Where should he go?
You answered the death of your clan with a goat?
A courtroom? Unnecessary. You killed my idiot son, and I answered, as is my custom, by smacking your holdings with goat's blood.
Don't look at me.
No foul. You meant to murder Tevinters, but got feisty with your Inquisition. A red-headed mother guarantees a brat. Do as you've earned, Inquisitor. My clan yields. My remaining boys have brains still in their heads.
It seems our conflict was accidental, Chief Movran, but it can't be repeated. I banish you and your clan, with as many weapons as you can carry, to Tevinter.
My idiot boy got us something after all.
No dobra, zaczyna się ciekawie. Jeszcze coś?
You recall Gerion Alexius of Tevinter. Ferelden has given him to us as an acknowledgement of your aid. The formal charges are apostasy, attempted enslavement, and attempted assassination, on your own life, no less. Tevinter has disowned and stripped him of his rank. You may judge the former magister as you see fit.
I remember what would have happened to Thedas if his treachery had succeeded.
I couldn't save my son. Do you think my fate matters to me?
Will you offer nothing more in your defense?
You've won nothing. The people you saved, the acclaim you've gathered. You'll lose it all in the storm to come. Render your judgment, Inquisitor.
Co by z nim zrobić? No mnie to może być ciekawe.
Your magic was theoretically impossible, Alexius. I could use people like you. Your sentence is to serve under guard as a researcher on all things magical for the Inquisition.
No execution. Very well.
Robienie z nich agentów ma chyba najwięcej sensu, tak mi się wydaje. O, rozumiem, to na razie koniec. Nie będę dostawał kolejnych wraz z postępem fabuły, czy albo questów pobocznych. Przynajmniej tak mi się wydaje, że miałoby to sens. Ej, to było takie przejście? Czy ja wlazłem nie tam, gdzie powinienem? Gdzie ja jestem?
They have certainly spared no expense.
Łocie! Ulepszenia. Lepsza wieża. A, to trzeba będzie pewnie twierdzę ulepszać i jak się ulepszy, to coś da. Uho, jaki widok. No, chciałbym mieć taki widok w pokoju. Fajnie by było. Otwórz. O, tutaj coś jest. Garderoba. O, można zmienić ubiór. Proste, wieczne, beżowe. Czystość. Ale... No dobra, ale czemu ja nie mogę tego zobaczyć na jakimś podglądzie, czy coś? Takie rysunki... No. Nie powiem, że są złe, ale no... Nie mówią tyle, ile bym chciał. No kurczę, to wygląda jak, nie wiem, jakiś... rosyjski admirał czy coś. Oni chyba mieli takie kiedyś. Albo nie rosyjski. Któryś z carów na pewno się tak ubierał. Podobnie. I chyba to wprowadził, ale nie pamiętam dokładnie. Bo na pewno to od Brytyjczyków przejęli, ale... Nie, to wygląda tak se. To będzie też wyglądało tak se, bo one wszystkie są w tym samym stylu. Nie, to wygląda jak pomalowany ten... nie wiem, ta szata zaklinacza. Czy... To jest pancerz. Można... O, złota zbroja ta... Nieśmiertelność. A, to jest samo, tylko że w wersji zwykłej. Nocna warta. Nie, to jest to samo, tylko też w innych kolorkach. Chyba to by było najlepsze. Ewentualnie czystość. Nie, to takie białe. Zwykłe to mi się nie podoba. Takie, czy nie wiem, zwykłe. Jeszcze był trójwizytowy, ale one wszystkie były chyba takie... No... niepasujące. A tu jeszcze... O, to jest też niebieskie takie. Warto to było tamto, a wyróż naprzód to było... A, to samo, tylko że w innym kolorze. To bierzemy to. Chyba najciekawsze. Może są mody, które dodają inne ubranka, albo można kupić inne ubranka. W sumie na to nie wpadłem. Tutaj widzę nic ciekawego. A tutaj... O, tutaj to jest jeszcze lepszy widok. W sumie trochę jak w tym w Wiedźminie na początku trójce, jak się wychodzi. To jest taki podobny efekt. Gdzie tu się w ogóle stąd wychodziło? I w sumie mam ważne pytanie. Czy można się zabić? Tak. Nie. Ale blisko było. A stąd? Też nie. Nie. Głupie. Mogliby już zezwolić na samobójstwo. No dobra, więc tam jest mieszkanką. A tutaj był ten stół. Jeszcze pewnie z Józefiną trzeba będzie porozmawiać, ale najpierw stół, narad. Trzeba im dać nowe zadania. Tego jest 2 razy więcej niż było wcześniej. Litości. O, mam 1 punkt. Super. To tutaj chyba było. I mogę w końcu wziąć to. Pum. I w końcu będę mógł otwierać wszystkie zamki. Donet, a tam będzie wojska pewnie. Nie, magia, to będą tajemnice. Tak jest, magister w niełasce. Z Ritz jest elfka z Crestwood. No, to Liliana teraz będzie zapierniczać przy 15% bufie. Nawet nie wiem, co ja mam tam wybierać. I tu jeszcze kolejne. Chyba Doriana. Super. Monument ku czci azylu. Super. Cena władzy. Cena władzy brzmi jak jakieś DLC. Ale nie wygląda to jak DLC.
How are the rescue efforts? Have they found anyone alive?
DLC są zwykle jakoś
Excavation is
oznaczone.
slow, as you can imagine.
To by wyglądało jak DLC. Chociaż w sumie to wygląda podobnie. To chyba nie jest DLC. Ale kogo ja gdzieś jeszcze wysyłałem? Tu jest. Mąż w Nevarze. Lodowa laska magistra. Statek łowcy. Wyrok. Przybywa Mowran. O. To, co proponuje Leliana, to jest chyba najlepsze wyjście niż tu Lelianę. Kciuka Krinus. Tam będzie chyba lepiej właśnie też Lelianę wysłać. To już chyba. Też klinczu. Trzeba będzie to zrobić, więc dobra. Wyślijmy to tutaj, wyślijmy tu Józefinę. A w Fereldenie, żeby nie zaniedbywać jak tego jest. Maria, ile tego jest. O, Damasku podwójnego agenta. O, to trzeba byłoby zrobić pewnie. Ale to później. Przywołać pobór do Inkwizycji. Ale to też wygląda jakby to było... O, okiełznanie zbuntowanych magów. O, świętuj zabicie smoka. O! To jest dobry pomysł. Jak dostanę nowy panterz od Wade'a, to się nie obrażę. Dobra, więc w tej chwili to tyle. Józefina. O, będzie cutscenka.
And what else did Lady Forsythia say? That she'd rather drown herself than help the Inquisition. Anything else? She said she'd have us flogged alive if we allied with her brother.
That does sound like her.
Cheer up, Josie. We at least have her attention.
You always do find the brighter side of things. We are in the midst of cementing an alliance with Lady Forsythia of Nevada, your worship. It's become a somewhat delicate task.
Can I do anything to help negotiations?
Thank you, but I believe I have matters in hand. I dissuaded her from sending soldiers when she learned we'd struck an accord with a brother she's feuding with. Lady Forsythia,
simply employs a colorful manner of speech.
You're rather good-natured about threats of death and dismemberment.
They are chiefly bluster, Inquisitor. Most of them. But I confess I do miss my staff from the embassy in Antiva. It was always useful to discuss the day's visitors with them.
I have time if you'd like to review things with me.
I wouldn't wish to impose.
If it were imposing, I wouldn't have offered.
Well, I admit there are a few potential alliances it would be good to discuss. Right on the parlor floor, in front of everyone at the soiree. Who does such a thing in front of their guests?
The Duke of Kellington, apparently.
And then there's Cole's lurking. It frightens our guests half to death. Lord Jennar still won't respond to our letters. And Sarah, can she not find a single overshirt without mustard stains on it? Then there's Dorian. The man refuses to take anything seriously unless it suits its whim. Not to mention... Oh goodness. Have we been here an hour already?
It went by so quickly, I didn't even notice.
You're far too polite. I didn't intend to go on for so long. You must think me quite the gossip.
Nie wiem, czy w końcu nie
Spending
przesadzę i
time
nie
with such an engaging woman
wiąże
is
się
never
zbyt
unpleasant, Lady
szybko z...
Montelier.
Goodness.
Ale
I'm...
okej.
Well, I'm glad I haven't wasted your day. Well, I've taken up quite enough of your time already. Until next time, Your Worship.
Okej. Teraz znowu muszę schodzić. Nie mogę szybciej? Nie, niewidzialna ściana. Tak, tam były te kazamaty. O. Nie wiem, co tam jest. Jak się tam dostać? Vivien, Warik, tam byli ci... O, tam było jakieś zadanie od Królena. No to porozmawiajmy sobie na przykład z Vivien. Była tu? A ona jest na zewnątrz? Nie, tu jest. Nie, na zewnątrz. Nie. Ślepy jestem czy co? No tu jest Warik. Chyba, że ona jest, nie wiem. O kurczę, to jest jakaś galeria jeszcze. W drabinie? Nie. Jak się na górę dostać? Tędy?
Hello, Inquisitor. I can help with these. Whatever.
A, w ogóle to jest ogród jakiś.
Fertile ground even here. This hold has everything.
I że tutaj można sobie sadzić roślinki, super. Nie, mam złe wspomnienia. Ostatnia gra, w którą grałem, bardzo mnie zniechęciła do sadzenia roślinek. Tu można wejść na górę, jakie to jest olbrzymie. Zabiję się? Nie mogę nawet skoczyć w buty. Dobra, ale stąd nie powinienem się zabić, przynajmniej nie w tej twierdzy, będzie chyba szybciej. Otwórz. Jest dalej przejście na murach. Pójdzie szybciej.
Lots of standards.
I trzeba odkryć, jak się dostać na tą galerię. Chwila. Tu było przejście na górę, może tam będzie dalsze przejście. A, zaczęło klatkować coś. Będzie do orienten, ale chcę się dostać na tą galerię. Tu przejście dalej. A, przy okazji jest ten stół. O. Przeczytaj. Vivian.
What is it?
Nie ma nic ciekawego.
How can you possibly oppose freedom for your own people?
Perhaps the Dalish are too isolated to grasp the realities of this world. All mages live lives of limited possibilities. We are denied fairness due to an accident of birth. But no one said that life was fair. The world is not made up of mages and Templars or circles and chantries. There is no us and no them. There are only people. People who must share a world which is not portioned equally among all. My own people want a larger share of the world, uncaring that they have already been granted great power.
That's not their fault. They can't help what they are.
Wolves cannot live peacefully among sheep, no matter how much they regret being wolves. The wolves howl and claw at the fences that hold them back. Take pity and you let them loose among the lambs. And what do the sheep do? Panic, and the scent of their fear drives the wolves to attack.
It'll take time, but people can learn not to fear magic.
One cannot unlearn a primal fear. Like fire or heights, it is not about prejudice. It is about survival. I care for the witch hunts that will come. I care for the angry mobs who string up mages on gibbets for the vultures. I care that my stupid brethren will kill and be killed by frightened people defending their families from monsters. I will stand in opposition to that, whatever you may do. Yes, my dear?
I wanted to ask you about the Circle of Magi.
Of course. What do you wish to know?
You must have an opinion of the Templars after living so long in the Circle.
Having opinions about Templars, my dear, is exactly like having opinions about mages or Navarrans or men. I have known some who are impossible to endure and some who are utterly charming. I have suffered insults at the hands of those in the armor, but no more than I endured from nobles or tradesmen in Val-Royal. Personally, I have found the Templars a useful tool, skilled at keeping more unpleasant elements at bay. Yes, my dear?
I'd like to know more about you, Madame Vivienne.
How sweet of you, my dear. But I'm sure there's nothing I can say that you don't already know.
Okej. Czyli sobie zbytnio miał więcej nie pogadam. Tego dalej nie można czytać. Dalej nie można czytać. Helisma.
A request has been made of you, Inquisitor. Here it is.
What is your evaluation of how we're doing?
Adequate. Based on a partial improvement to Skyhold.
Okej.
As you were.
Yes, Inquisitor.
Chyba z nią co
We're
za wiele nie
supposed to have
nie pogadam.
52 copies
Nie,
of
bo-
Hard in Hightown. And we're missing all but 4.
ale że co? Wiem questa, że mam czegoś poszukać tutaj? Właśnie, z nią
It doesn't surprise me
o niej
you found
myślałem
the
wcześniej.
Wardens mixed up in all this. From first-hand experience, you should be wary anytime my old order is involved.
You were once a Grey Warden.
Mine is an unusual circumstance, Inquisitor. Normally one is part of the Order until death. But long ago I found myself stripped of what made me a Warden.
Jak to
They
mówiła.
tried to reinitiate me, but nothing worked. Nor could they figure out how it happened. So I was sent to the Circle of Magi. The first
dokładnie to
Warden ever
mówiła.
to be kicked
Nie
out.
będę dalej gadał.
Another time.
Florian, o. Kac.
Anything interesting?
A letter regarding Felix, Alexius's son. He went to the Magisterium, stood on the Senate floor and told them of you. A glowing testimonial, I'm informed. No news on the reaction, but everyone back home is talking. Felix always was as good as his word.
Was?
He's dead. The Blight caught up with him.
Are you all right?
He was ill, and thus on borrowed time anyhow.
That doesn't mean you can't regret his death.
I know. Felix used to sneak me treats from the kitchens when I was working late in his father's study. Don't get into trouble on my behalf, I tell him. I like trouble, he'd say. Tevinter could use more mages like him. Those who put the good of others above themselves.
Were the two of you...
Felix and I? What an odd question. No. I had no intention of abusing Alexius's hospitality by seducing his son.
Skąd to pytanie?
Not that I've been proper my whole life, by any means. It wasn't like that. Even in illness, Felix was the best of us. With him around, you knew things could be better.
You make it sound like he was a better person than you.
What a mad thing to say. Few people are better than I. Very well, a better person, clearly, not nearly as handsome. Thankfully, Felix wasn't the only decent sort kicking around Thedas.
No dobra. A nie, wyżej jeszcze trzeba? Czy byłem już wyżej? Nie, tu jest niżej, tam jest ta galeria. A, te książki to trzeba odnaleźć. Boże, już będę biegał po całej Cytadeli i tego szukał. Otwórz. Wróć. Zaczynam się kręcić w kółko. Tutaj. Tak, i tu powinna być Leliana. No. Nie, to czytałem? A? Czemu mogę to czytać? Kółko czytać? Tu jest książka. Można tu wyjść? Można. Z Lelianą mogę pogadać? Mogę. Ale chcę zobaczyć, co tu jest. Tak jak się spodziewałem. Absolutnie nic. Więc no tak, Leliana.
Inquisitor?
O,
The Divine's death hit you hard. How have you been feeling?
Oh, you are referring to my outburst in the Haven. I am much better now. Justinia was such a dear friend and there were so many things going wrong.
Sometimes it's best to talk these things out.
I was with the hero Ferelden when she defeated the Archdemon. With her by my side, anything was possible. But there is no happily ever after, not when life goes on. When the Divine requested my help, I went to her. I owed her that much. I sacrificed so much to do the Maker's work. But now, Justinia is dead. I was angry. I felt betrayed. But I shouldn't have let my emotions get the better of me. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. You were grieving and upset. I understand.
Thank you. Now enough of this. Let us think more pleasant thoughts.
You seem to know a great many people.
I've made friends, and on occasion enemies. It's unavoidable.
You seem to know Josephine quite well.
I met her a long time ago, but we didn't become good friends until years later. After the Blight, in fact. I'd just returned to Val Rayo, and she welcomed me back by throwing a diplomatic ball. She was the Antivan ambassador at the time, you see. The ball was... all right. Too many politicians. At midnight, Josie and I left to find a real party. We've been friends ever since.
What do you consider a real party?
It's not a real party until someone's small clothes are pinned to a chantry board. And that's all I'm saying about it.
Okay.
We can continue this conversation later.
You know where I am. I'm listening.
Anything I should know?
It seems that the Orlesian army is awaiting our next move. Some of the generals are sympathetic to our cause, others are still suspicious. Our actions are under a great deal of scrutiny.
I'll leave you to your work.
Dobra, tu jeszcze coś jest. Chodź, patrz. Magia krwi. To musiała być magia krwi. Nie ma innej opcji. Lis. A co? Tą gadałem. Z tym też. No to na dole powinien być Solas jeszcze. A tu księga. Pojaw się.
Hello.
I'd like to know more about you, Solus.
Why?
You're an apostate, yet you risked your freedom to help the Inquisition.
Not the wisest course of action when framed that way.
I appreciate the work you're doing, Solus. I just wanted to know more about you.
I'm sorry. With so much fear in the air. What would you know of me?
What made you start studying the Fade?
I grew up in a village to the north. There was little to interest a young man, especially one gifted with magic. But as I slept, spirits of the Fade showed me glimpses of wonders I had never imagined. I treasured my dreams. Being awake, out of the Fade, became troublesome.
Did spirits try to tempt you?
No more than a brightly colored fruit is deliberately tempting you to eat it. I learned how to defend myself from more aggressive spirits, and how to interact safely with the rest. I learned how to control my dreams with full consciousness. There was so much I wanted to explore.
I gather you didn't spend your entire life dreaming.
No. Eventually, I was unable to find new areas in the Fade.
Why?
2 reasons. First, the Fade reflects the world around it. Unless I traveled, I would never find anything new. Second, the Fade reflects and is limited by our imaginations. To find interesting areas, one must be interested.
Is this why you joined the Inquisition?
I joined the Inquisition because we were all in terrible danger. If Corypheus destroyed the world, I would have nowhere to lay my head while dreaming of the Fade.
Ah.
Inquisitor, that is why I joined, not why I stayed.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. In truth, I've enjoyed experiencing more of life to find more of the fate.
How so?
You train your will to control magic and withstand possession. Your indomitable focus is an enjoyable side benefit. You have chosen a path whose steps you do not dislike because it leads to a destination you enjoy. As have I.
Indomitable focus?
Presumably. I have yet to see it dominated. I imagine that the sight would be fascinating.
You said you'd traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, and you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
Shh.
Any place in particular?
I dreamt at Ostagar. I witnessed the brutality of the Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signal fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Kaelin's forces.
I've heard the stories. It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire, and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Kaelin fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more soldiers die in a lost cause.
And you can't tell which is real.
It is the Fade. They are all real.
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
You're saying that you became friends with Pride and Desire demons?
They were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
I'm impressed that you could become friends with spirits.
Anyone who can dream has the potential. Few ever try. My friends comforted me in grief and shared my joy. Yet, because they exist without form, as we understand it, the Chantry declares that spirits are not truly people. Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her faith? Varric by his chest hair and not his wit?
You have an interesting way of looking at the world, Solus.
I try. And that isn't quite an answer.
I look forward to helping you make new friends.
That should be... well...
That isn't quite an answer either. We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
I jakieś zadanie będzie.
Inquisitor? My Lady Inquisitor, it's good of you to speak with me. I have news regarding one of your companions, the De Winter.
Has Dorian done something wrong?
No, thankfully. It's nothing like that. I have been in contact with his family. House Pavas, out of Carenas. Are you familiar with them?
He's mentioned his family. They don't appear to be on good terms.
Yes. I believe you're correct. The family sent a letter describing the estrangement from their son and pleading for my aid. They've asked to arrange a meeting quietly without telling him. They fear it's the only way he'll come. Since you seem to be on good terms with the young man, I'd hoped...
Just what kind of meeting do they have in mind?
I believe they just want to talk, to understand why Dorian felt he had to come here. Somewhere private, away from Skyhold, but not in Tevinter. You make them nervous, I think. They don't understand why he's here with the Inquisition. They want him to come home.
What happens if Dorian doesn't agree?
Hopefully that will be the end of it. If not, well, that's why you should be there.
Why would his family contact you?
Because they don't know you, Inquisitor. I am not of the Imperial Chantry, but they know what I represent. These are parents concerned about the welfare of their son. How could I not do whatever possible? I would speak to the young man myself, but he does not care for me. Thus I come to you. If any good can come of this, we must try.
They don't want Dorian to know. That seems odd.
They believe the young man would refuse, and the letter implies he'd have cause. Yet, they are remorseful for whatever came before. This is a chance for dialogue. There is deceit in bringing the young man to this meeting without his foreknowledge, I know. But does it not lead to a greater kindness if there is potential for reconciliation?
Are you sure this isn't some kind of trap? I mean, the secrecy...
That did occur to me. What if it is a plot of those mages, the Venatori? Another reason to put this in your hands, Inquisitor. I pray that isn't the case. But if it is, you are far better equipped than I to respond to such treachery.
If you think I'm going to trick Dorian into meeting his family...
I feared you might say that. The family will send a retainer to meet the young man at the Red Cliff Tavern, to take him onward. If he truly does not wish this reunion, he can always end the matter there. I pray you change your mind, Inquisitor. Perhaps their letter will persuade you. If there is any chance of success in this, it behooves us to act.
Okej, to trzeba chyba iść do Doriana. Dorian będzie tu.
I'm told you have Alexius researching magic for you. Research is always what made him happiest. Perhaps I'll even go talk to him eventually. One word of advice. If he suggests altering time as a way to solve all your problems, give it a pass.
You said Alexius was a mentor of yours.
He was my patron, sponsoring me to the higher levels of the Circle of Magi. In return, my successes were his. I had a lot of successes, naturally. Alexius was most pleased. He and I used to talk over brandy about the corruption, how we could one day make real change in the Imperium. And then he gave up. He stopped trying.
Why did he give up?
On a journey to Hosburg, a Darkspawn raid killed his wife and sickened his son. I remember hearing the news. He hadn't been there, you see. Alexius was convinced he could have protected them. The guilt tore him up. I helped him with his research for a while, and then we drifted apart.
That must have been difficult.
Back then, I was furious. I told him to snap out of it, move on. I thought I had all the answers. Later, I regretted my hasty words. But we didn't speak again until he approached me for the Venatori. Too much pride, I suppose. Plus, I was busy drinking. One must have priorities.
Was it hard being away from him?
It was hard not having a patron, yes. I'm not exactly built to fit in. At any rate, he's fallen so low, I doubt he'll ever get up. Sad, really.
Dorian, there's a letter you need to see.
A letter? Is it a naughty letter? A humorous proposal from some Antivan dowager?
Not quite. It's from your father.
From my father? I see. And what does Magister Hallward want, pray tell?
A meeting.
Show me this letter.
I know my son? What my father knows of me would barely fill a thimble. This is so typical. I'm willing to bet this retainer is a henchman, hired to knock me on the head and drag me back to Tevinter.
You think your father would actually do that?
No, although I wouldn't put it past him. Let's go. Let's meet this so-called family retainer. If it's a trap, we escape and kill everyone. You're good at that. If it's not, I send the man back to my father with a message that he can stick his alarm in his wit's end.
There seems to be bad blood between you and your family.
Interesting turn of phrase. But you're correct. They don't care for my choices, nor I for theirs.
Because you wouldn't get married? Because you left?
That too.
Let's go meet this retainer then.
I wonder how much my father paid this man to wait around just in case I showed. We'll find out soon enough.
Pytanie, gdzie jest ta tawerna? Zadanie. A nie, są specjalne dostawy. Ale... A, gdzie ta tawerna będzie? Nie? A, o. Jedna za ziemię. Dobra.
I can't believe my father's gall. Of course, he couldn't come here to Skyhold. No, that would be too much. But contacting some southern cleric on the sly, much wiser. If this is some venatory connivance, I will be utterly disappointed.
I should go.
I do rather like watching you leave.
Inquisitor, I've found where the Red Templars come from. They're in Fall Redoubt. The Knights were fed red lyrium until they turned into monsters. Samson took over after their corruption was complete.
How do you know Samson?
He was a Templar in Kirkwall, until he was expelled from the Order. I knew he was an addict, but this... Red lyrium is nothing like the lyrium given by the Chantry. Its power comes with a terrible madness.
The Red Templars swarming Haven were proof enough.
We cannot allow them to gain strength. The Red Templars still require lyrium. If we find their source, we can weaken them and their leader.
Are you angrier at Corypheus or Samson?
I don't know. Samson at least should know better. Caravans of red lyrium are being smuggled along trade roads. Investigating them could lead to where it's being mined. If you confront them, be wary. Anything connected to Samson will be well guarded.
Kolejne zadania, ale jeszcze nie byłem tu, nie byłem na górze. Może można sobie pozbierać. Ła, tam jest dziura. Nie za bardzo można pozbierać. Ale można jeszcze na górę wleźć.
Strangest thing, when I reached down, my dagger was gone. Just gone. Know where I found it? In a barrel. The thing was filled to the brim with daggers. Got the strangest feeling. I know someone took it right off my belt, but I can't recall who.
O, gdzie poszukaj kola.
What are you doing?
Listening. Eyes rough, jangling armor hurts my ears, back aching, fingers too clumsy for knots. Wind cool like Aunt Eloise's pond, lips scalded as I sip, warmth blossoms, first kiss in the barn. What was his name? Tin jangle as the blood spills, Pierre's wrapped body on the wagon to the chantry. 5 more minutes. My fault.
Can you listen to anyone's mind like you did hers?
No, they have to need me. Pain, fear, sadness, guilt, anger, hurt. Things I can fix.
Can you do something for her?
Yes. It's okay. Nothing you did mattered.
What? Who are you?
They lie there, and sometimes they die, just like Pierre. You can't save them.
I don't know who you are.
Wait. That didn't work. Let me try again. You'll forget me in a minute.
What are you going to do?
Make her forget me. Then do it again, the right way. You can't save all of them.
What?
Like Pierre getting sick after you snuck out to Aunt Eloise's pond. You want it to be your fault, so there's a reason and it's not so frightening. But there is no reason. Pierre just got sick. The soldier was never going to live. It wasn't your fault. Better.
So you walk into their lives, make them feel better, and they just forget you?
Yes. It's better to help and then be gone. If I stay, it can be frightening.
For you or for them?
Yes. Thank you for letting me help her. It's not how a person would do it. But it helped. That's what matters.
No, okej.
Haven was a cock-up herald for the Inquisitor. But you did right by me, and others. We'll pay you back.
Okej. O, mamy jakieś książki. Ale tak, trzeba będzie pewnie kiedyś wszystkie poszukać. Mamy Kassandrę. Idealnie w tym samym miejscu.
I can keep staring at this, but I won't get any closer.
Something I can help you with?
Yes. Possibly. We saw so many Red Templars at the assault on Haven. Perhaps all that was left of the Order. What we didn't see was Lord Seeker Lucius. Indeed, I've seen no hint of any Seekers amongst the Red Templars, or anywhere. I have a growing suspicion Corypheus has imprisoned them.
Why imprisoned? He could just as easily have killed them.
Not easily. But yes, they may be dead. But the Seekers began this war against the mages. They cannot have simply vanished. There must be a trail we can follow, yet so far I have only discovered hints.
But they could have ended up just like the Red Templars.
Seekers do not use lyrium. I assume Corypheus gained control of the Templars by corrupting the lyrium they were already taking. To do the same to a Seeker, you'd have to force the lyrium upon him. That may be what happened, but it couldn't have begun that way. We're missing a piece of the puzzle, Inquisitor. I need to find it.
Finding them obviously means a lot to you.
I left the Order, but I can never abandon them. I cannot even claim that rescuing them would be beneficial. They wouldn't look kindly on the Inquisition. But even so, if there's a chance... If we can spare resources to follow up on these leads, Inquisitor, I would appreciate it.
Okej. Ale teraz muszę lecieć jeszcze raz tą samą trasę.
Inquisitor, is it true? Is the mark on your hand magic cast by Corypheus?
Corypheus claimed it's a spell gone wrong.
I wanted to think it was a blessing. A sign the Maker was returning to his creation. How credulous of me.
The anchor's nothing more special than a misfired spell.
At least you had the good fortune to take it from Corypheus. Does it hurt? The anchor, that is.
It looks strange, but it hasn't done me harm.
If it did come from Corypheus, that's a small mercy. A situation requires your attention, Inquisitor. Noble Chantry loyalists in the city of Jadar are spreading accusations that you're responsible for the Divine's death. They're unusually organized. I recommend we send people to Jadar to deal with the matter.
Will anyone even believe me if I claim I didn't kill the Divine?
Perhaps if they learn about your heroics, we should emphasize how you stopped the breach devouring the sky. Even in Jadar, it may win you a few admirers.
What does the nobility gain by saying I murdered Justinia?
A scapegoat to begin with, but I wonder if the Grand Clerics are at work. Those immediately eligible to be divine died at the Conclave. The ones remaining were not as favored. They may look upon you as a rival for influence.
Why don't we counter these
Propaganda.
falsehoods by starting rumors of our own?
A whisper campaign. It would show those in the know we have some subtlety at our command. A pleasure.
O kurczę. Sekundę zajmie.
Let's speak later.
Another time.
Prawo być. Życzę.
A pleasure.
Się było. Pogadajmy z nią. O, co jest? A, jeszcze więcej.
Who rules Antiva?
Officially, the Principality of Antiva is governed by His Majesty King Fugelno II. In reality, Antiva's merchant princes rule the country in everything but name. Quite loudly, I might add.
What sort of dealings did you have with these merchant families?
As ambassador, I attended Privy Council meetings in a mediatory capacity. May I just say, one has never heard an argument until they've sat in on 15 princes howling down each other's tariff suggestions.
That sounds more like a mob than a meeting.
It's all a part of life in Antiva. Our traditions value passion and romance, a certain exuberance of style.
Are you positive you're Antivan?
I can be most exuberant when it's called for. Just at the right moments, and in a proper fashion. Might we speak of something else?
What's the land like in Antiva?
The settled areas are quite lush. The vineyards run as far as the eye can see in some places. Antiva City, however, perches right up against the Rialto Bay. That's what I miss most. The sea crashing against the maze of the docks.
I have difficulty seeing you wandering around a trading port.
Everyone in Antiva City spends time by the ships, my lady. The finest restaurants and poets all make their habitation by the sea. The waterfront's never still. Lanterns are lit along the promenade no matter what the weather.
Are you ever homesick?
Occasionally. When a breeze stirs the trees in the garden, I sometimes pretend it's the sound of the surf. Do you know, I even miss those terrible squawking birds infesting the harbor. My youngest sister used to throw whole loaves of bread to the gulls. Silly thing.
Where were you raised, Josephine?
I was born in Antiva City, but when I turned 15, Mother declared I'd attend finishing school in Val Royeaux. But I bawled into her skirts the day I had to leave.
You must have missed her terribly.
I did, and she was most unsympathetic to my wailing. But my mother only wanted the best for me. Living in Orlais was an education in itself.
What did you learn at this finishing school in Val Royeaux?
Among other things, mathematics, rhetoric, poetry, history, logic, and a great deal of etiquette. I still remember Madame Beventir's switch on my knuckles when I forgot the basic tenets of Nevaran dining customs. For a dowager approaching her 80th year, she had quite the arm.
How did the younger you like Val Royeaux when you arrived?
Have you ever stepped into a new city and felt the buildings couldn't possibly be real? That was Val Royeaux to me. So beautifully foreign, I gaped at its spires for months.
Does Antiva City have nothing that compares to Val Royeaux?
Antiva City is a jewel among the capitals. But I did not appreciate that before I traveled. There are multitudes of places I'd like to see. Saharan, the Anderfels, whatever lies past the Amarantine Ocean.
You said the Montiliers used to run an entire trading fleet. What happened?
There was a scandal in Val Royeaux more than an age ago. The Montiliers were forbidden from trading with Orlais. Our personal fortunes never quite rebounded.
Does anyone in Orlais even remember what that scandal was?
I doubt it. but the injunction persists.
What exactly happened?
An affair with a minor lord. Perhaps. Most other details are lost.
Are you saying your family's livelihood was ruined because of a love affair no one even remembers?
Essentially, Orlesian politics are full of these unhappy little missteps, Inquisitor.
Tell me about the Montiliers.
Well, my parents are alive and in good health. They live in our estate in Antiva City. Of my 4 siblings, most attend to the running of the family vineyards. That reminds me, I must ask someone to make sure Yvette attends the spring reception at the palace. My youngest sister has no head for social engagements.
Why are you overseeing your siblings' social lives?
It's Antivan custom. After a certain age, the heir apparent runs the family's estate to prove they're worthy of succession. If you're unfit for the task, the heads of the house, usually one's parents, may decree a new heir.
What do these Antivan heads of the households do if they don't run it?
They work and provide guidance. I've taken advice from my parents. Well, mostly mother. Father's more of an artist. It's rather gauche, but we never can dissuade him from running his own salons. Between him and my siblings, mother's looking forward to my taking over the estate.
Between that and the Inquisition, when do you ever rest?
Delegation helps a great deal. But managing the estate is my duty. As much work as it is, I will not shirk it.
Is running your family's estate that important to you?
I'm responsible for their welfare. A Montilier never shuns their familial duty. Taxing, as those duties can sometimes be.
Maybe your siblings could help lighten your burden.
You don't know them. But Lorien in charge, or Antoine, or Yvette? No, truly. It must be me.
You haven't really gone into detail about how you know Leliana.
We met... let me think. We met the last few years of my schooling, but we became friends after I became Ambassador to Olay. It seems terrifyingly long ago now.
How exactly did you and Leliana reconnect in the Inquisition?
I discovered my family had been overcharging a merchant we traded with for months. Our name carries a great deal of trust in Antiva. I spent weeks arranging a string of favors as suitable recompense. Apparently satisfied, the merchant extended me an invitation to her estate. Leliana greeted me in place of the merchant.
I assume there was more to it than a strange way to say hello.
It was a test of sorts. Leliana claimed she needed someone of painful integrity for the Inquisition. I accepted, once she finally explained what it was.
Do you remain close?
Yes, but she's grown so much more distant than the outgoing woman I met in Val Royeaux. Leliana used to wander the Orlesian courts, singing the sweetest songs, charming the greatest wits. Now she collects secrets and takes risks that would make empires tremble. I worry, but she will not hear it.
Does Leliana confide in you?
She enjoys revisiting our more disastrous adventures. Leliana used to concoct the most ridiculous plans. Run if you ever see her with a twine ball, a measuring stick, and a handkerchief.
Let's speak later.
Another time.
Chyba i to będzie tyle, jeśli chodzi o filmy. Trochę miała do gadania. Ale tak, można pójść tu. Ło, cutscenka.
Inquisitor?
The Arcanist has arrived.
You should see for yourself.
Hello there.
Dobra. Ty ci niska.
Well, don't just stand there slack-jawed. Let's figure out what you need.
Dagna!
You're the magical advisor?
Oh, you're her. The Inquisitor. I'm Dagna. Arcanist Dagna. It's an honor, your worship. Is that it? The hand anchor mark? It's pretty. And the breach was pretty too. In a destroy everything sort of way.
I welcome you to the Inquisition and look forward to your contribution.
Me too. I've heard some impossible things. I love impossible things. Those are the best to make, well, possible. I've looked at Herod's devices. Precision is fantastic, but typical. Mundane. Old thinking. No disrespect meant to the classical trades, but you need a new perspective. I've made adjustments. As long as I keep making them, you can craft just about anything. Almost safely.
Where does a dwarf go to study magical theory?
Get out. I asked myself that question for years. Turns out, not in Orzammar. I had to start at a circle. I had help, though. A Grey Warden, and I am forever grateful. With that sanction, I visited a half-dozen circles. Wonders I've seen. And with an objective eye, I can spot where they overlap. That's a surprise for every teacher. It's a grand tradition, and it works so well with new thinking.
You were quick to join the Inquisition. Is there something you want?
How could I waste a chance to get close to you? And Corypheus, my goodness. And actual physical rifts in the Veil. Also, dwarves? We don't dream. So, when mages talk about it, I can only, well, dream what it would be like. So there's that, and all the things you'll probably find, and what I'll get to make. The rules are different here. Plus, you're paying me a lot. Like, wow, so much.
What qualifies you to be an arcanist?
I took the title because I'm a magical researcher, philosopher, and master of practical application. And I like it. I can't actually do magic because I'm a dwarf, but that also means no risk of possession, safer than a mage. It means that every skill I have, I've learned through reason and understanding. Coming from the Smith caste, I know the value of mastering a craft. Did you know dwarves invented enchanting? Probably.
What's that you do, exactly?
I was born to the forge. That's literal in the Smith caste. So the hammer and tong, that's like a heartbeat. But you've a man for that already, and a good one. I'm here because of my passion for magic. Magical study, magical theory, magical enchantment, and through it, the manipulation of masterworks. I studied it all with an objective eye. No secrets, no fears. That lets me apply principles like no other. Maybe one other, but I don't have that wonky of a mind, so I still kind of win.
What's the story with enchanting?
Lyrium is the heart. In certain rational patterns, it beats like something alive. That's how I see it. So, a mage can make your weapons do things, but with the right runes, the right rarities, your toys become wonders. It's the one thing mages can't do. It drives them mad. Literally. Dwarves are resistant, so it doesn't affect us. Mostly.
You have the ability to make exceptional weapons and armor. Masterworks?
There's an art to the forge, as well as enchanting. You need an ear for it. And hands. Eyes, too. Nothing bad to say about Herod on that front. He's wonderful. But there's this little more needed. With the right bits, an edge can be more than an edge. Armor can do more than protect. A hue can be just a bit brighter. In short, smithing can be more. In short.
Another time, Dagna.
Of course. Bring me what you want made, and I'll make sure it goes just right.
Wiedziałem, że warto było w nią zainwestować w Origins. I tak, modyfikacja bazy. To generalnie chciałem sprawdzić. Można pewnie jakieś rzeczy tutaj wybierać. Tylko, że nie mam tych. Coś mi się tam odblokowało, ale w sumie nie wiem co. Może to były jakieś schematy. Herby to no, to jest no, styl tronu. O, teraz mogę robić runy, fajno. Znaczy, nie mogę, bo nie mam kamieni, ale pewnie można je kupić czy coś. Specjalne dostawy. Mamy jakieś nowe rzeczy. Jakieś bronie, które pewnie nie są zbyt fajne, ale... że dostałem te bronie. Ja nie doczytałem. Tak. Co to jest? A, to jest szczylet. Żadnego Ajdachna. Ten też jest słaby i ten miecz jest też raczej słaby. Tam dostałem też coś takiego i to też jest słabe. Modyfikowa... O kurczę, ale wygląda to już całkiem okej. A, to oni te bronie z tego lyrium robią. Lepszy mikstury właśnie, mogę to się ulepszyć? Już tego napierałem, nie mam tego. Będzie rośli do tego, ale tego też nie mam. Alirium? Nie. Do niczego sobie nie nauczam. Może tutaj coś nowego? Nie, to było to. A granaty, była lecząca mgła. Ja tu mogę kupić, sprzedać tylko te odnowy taktyczne. Zabarw pancerz, o. A, i to się barwi tymi. Okej. Kolorki z tego ładne, ale nie będę tego marnował. jeszcze można? Zbroję. Zbroi nie chcę, bo nie było nic nowego. Więc to też nie ma sensu. Modyfikacja bazy, ale... Nie dostałem schematu do zrobienia czegoś? Tu nie ma, nie wiem, stworzenia czegoś takiego.
Well, how are you?
A Dagna coś ma? O, właśnie.
Dagna, show me what you can do.
Do you want fire? The first ask is always fire. It's fire, isn't it? Here's how it goes. Bring me the rare stuff for enchanting or masterworks and prep it here, just like normal. Except it's not normal. It's manipulation of primal forces. And I'll make sure it goes just right. We'll see. Let's see together.
Nie ufam jej.
What can I do for you?
Dagna, show me what you can do.
Here's how it goes. Bring me the rare stuff for enchanting or masterwork. Except...
Ale że przynieść... No ale gdzie ja mam jej to dać?
Well, how are you?
Mam więcej.
You seemed impressed by the anchor. What does it look like to you?
I heard what everyone says what you heard Garithia say. It's a long chain of who said what's. To me, it says key. But keys do a lot of things. Open, lock, switch. Some open one thing, some open everything. It sounds like Corypheus made it to open. But it looks like you can use it to close. It may be that simple. It sure is pretty. Wish I could see through it.
You mentioned a Grey Warden who helped you start your studies.
Not any Grey Warden. The Grey Warden. The hero of Ferelden is a hero in Orzammar, too. It's incredible that someone like the hero of Ferelden would stop to help the little people. Literally.
Exit był za to. To oczywiste.
The Warden affected you in a special way.
Talk to anyone, they'll say the same. It was a dark time. There was one light. She saved us. She saved me.
Your years of study have paid off.
Oh yes, the mages said I brought a valuable perspective. I've even presented my work to the College of Enchanters. I wanted an exchange. The Surface could learn about lyrium smithing, and Orzammar would gain knowledge of magic. But now there's no college. Insofar as the Shapeword is concerned, I'm castless. So you're getting my best work, Inquisitor. Let's make some great stuff.
You gave up so much, left your home. Was it really that amazing?
Yes. I left my home and my family, but I knew. I just knew I could be more than a smith. I wish my people weren't stuck in the past, and I regret that my father couldn't imagine another life for me. But I don't regret what I did.
All right, rein it in. You have work to do.
Right, sorry. I get carried away when I think of it. Ready when you need me.
No dobra. Weźmy na chwilę. Zapewne wszystkim...
Dagna, show me what you can...
No dobra, super. I co z tego? No nie wiem, może się pojawi coś, jak będę coś konkretnego miał. To było ubarwienie, tu można było kupić te śmieci, no to tyle. Ale wróć, mamy tu jeszcze skład. Do składów wrzucę po prostu te rzeczy, bo one nie są zbyt dobre, a jednak przydadzą. Właśnie, coal. To było chyba dla ciebie. Tak. I to by było na tyle w tej chwili. Tutaj, no bo nic więcej ciekawego nie ma. To mi jeszcze zostało do pogadania. Warik chyba. Warik, nie wiem, gadałem. Warik Sera jeszcze.
Corypheus is back. Oh, shit.
You said he was a Darkspawn, or a Magister. What is he really?
I'm not sure. I don't think Corypheus really knows either. He's definitely a Darkspawn, but when we found him, it was pretty obvious he hadn't heard that. He thinks he's a magister, a priest of Dumat, in fact. He says he broke into the Golden City, like in the Chantry tale.
If you and Hawke defeated him once, we can do it again.
We didn't just think Corypheus was dead. He was dead. No pulse, no breath, full of stab wounds. There wasn't a lot of room for doubt. It makes me wonder. I thought the Wardens imprisoned Corypheus to use him. Maybe they did it because he can't be killed.
How did you and Hawke even wind up in a Grey Warden prison for ancient Darkspawn?
Corypheus sent people after Hawke. He actually got control of an entire Carter clan. Made them drink Darkspawn blood. Weird shit. We tracked the Carter to an old dwarven fort or something in the mountains. Of course, it turned out to be a trap. They needed Hawke's blood to open the locks holding Corypheus, and they drew us into the prison to get it.
There has to be a way to defeat Corypheus. We'll find it. Don't worry.
I hope you're right. Maker's breath, what have I let loose?
You had nothing to do with this, Varric.
I was the one who led Hawke to Corypheus. If I hadn't tracked the Carter to that ruin. But you've got more important things to do than listen to me worry. Just let me know when you want something shot.
Ja, kim jest Gatsy?
Honored, Inquisitor. Gotzi Sturhald. Did my part on the walls, and now I'm on this strange collection you've brought us. Don't know its worth to the fight exactly, but it's good workmanship.
Where did you learn your skills?
Orzammar. Carved a few statues in my day. And before you ask, yes, I chose to leave. I carved a paragon who turned out to be a sodding madwoman.
O,
Couldn't stand
ciekawe
looking at her.
kogo.
The memory of a dwarf, right?
Any ideas about the origins of these reliefs?
To Vinter, early. It's in the tool marks, the grain. That's hard dust mined from the 100 Pillars, if I know anything. Oh, I suppose the scene is probably full of Tevinter robes, too.
The 100 Pillars?
Damnedest things. Massive spires that aren't stone. It's like a mortar. Don't know more than that. Strong, though.
Do you have insight into the stories these tiles are supposed to depict?
Here you go, Inquisitor. I wrote up some thoughts. Hope it adds to the effort.
Okej. A właściwie inaczej. Varric. Jeszcze raz pewnie mi się da, no.
Is this a bad time? I can come back.
No, it's all right. Bills are really not that engrossing. I've been meaning to come talk to you anyhow. I never officially joined the Inquisition. I don't know how to do this, disciplehood thing. I'm a businessman. Never really followed a chosen one before.
I don't need a disciple. I need a friend.
If you knew how intimidating you are, you wouldn't make it sound so simple. You just don't know what you are to the people out there. The Herald of Andraste is a symbol bigger than any of us.
What am I to you, then?
None of this shit makes any sense to me. Is this the end of the world? Did Andraste send you through the breach? I have no idea. You heard the crowd singing after Haven was attacked?
Whatever I am to Thedas, I'm still just an ordinary person.
So, just a regular person, like anybody else. Right. I should probably get back to work. Unless, you up for a game of Wicked Grace?
Co to jest?
Looking for someone to talk your ear off? I think I can oblige.
O kurczę.
I read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
Carry on.
Nic nie ma.
What can I do for you, Inquisitor?
What are your thoughts on the Inquisition?
If there's anybody out there who hasn't joined the Inquisition, they're hiding under a rock. Did you want to take over for Eldon? I think we might be able to conquer it just by looking east.
How do you think Josephine is handling the job of ambassador?
I'm starting to get the feeling that this is all a warm-up before she takes over Antiva in a bloodless coup.
What do you think of Leliana's work?
She scares me. Mostly in a good way. At least I'm reasonably sure she's on our side.
What do you think of our general?
Find him a war or something. If he spends any more time in the yard drilling, Josephine will have him killed.
Good to know.
Back to work, then.
Hmm.
What can I do for you, Inquisitor?
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
How do you and Cassandra know each other?
You heard about the Kirkwall Chantry being destroyed? The guy responsible used to be a friend of mine. The Seeker had questions about that, and I had answers.
Thanks, Varric.
No problem. What can I do for you, Inquisitor?
I want to know more about Red Lyrium.
I'll tell you what I can.
How did the Red Lyrium get in the Temple of Sacred Ashes?
I don't know. As far as I knew, there was only one small piece of the original idol we brought out of the Deep Roads. And it's locked in a vault in Kirkwall. One I had built by the mining caste especially to hold it.
What could the Templars want with it?
In Kirkwall, just having the Lyrium idol made Knight Commander Meredith impossibly strong. Before it turned her into a Lyrium statue, anyway. Maybe they thought the power was worth it, or maybe they didn't know the consequences.
I think that's enough on Red Lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject. What can I do for you, Inquisitor?
What can you tell me about this Corypheus?
I'm not exactly an expert, but ask away and I'll answer what I can.
How did you first encounter him?
A few years back, I was dealing with some trouble from a Carter clan that went rogue. They were sending assassins after the Hawk family. We tracked them to a rune in the Vimarks. It turned out to be a trap. Once you went far enough into the rune, there was a magic barrier that kept you from going back. The whole thing was a prison the Grey Wardens were using to hold what they thought was a powerful Darkspawn.
I've never heard of Wardens locking up Darkspawn. Why wouldn't they just kill him and be done with it?
I don't think they could. From what we saw in there, Corypheus can control Wardens somehow. They couldn't attack him. The Wardens locked him up because there was nothing else they could do.
He looks like some sort of blighted creature, but he speaks. What is he exactly?
The Wardens who imprisoned him thought he was just a Darkspawn. But you heard him ranting. He claims he's a Magister. One who assaulted the Golden City, what, more than 1,000 years ago? It seems crazy, but if he's telling the truth, he's one of the people who caused the Blights.
You and Hawk both said before he was supposed to be dead.
He was dead. We killed him. The only way for us to escape the prison Corypheus was trapped in was to go through him. We weren't going to just leave the door to his prison open behind us and hope he was dead. We made sure.
All right. I think that's enough about Corypheus.
No problem.
Nic więcej ciekawego nie miał do powiedzenia. I tam gadałem. Dał Asera, byk, chyba tyle. Jeszcze Cassandra może być. Z nią tylko raz gadałem. Cassandra.
I understand if resources cannot be spared to help search for the missing Seekers, Inquisitor. Still, it could involve a threat we are unaware of. There may be a use in looking.
I have some more questions.
Why am I not surprised?
Tell me about your brother.
I would prefer not to speak of Anthony. Another time, perhaps.
I'll let you get...
Something is troubling me, Inquisitor. Leliana is receiving reports of mages becoming possessed, Templars going rogue. No one is dealing with these matters. I was hoping we might, before they get worse.
We can certainly look into it.
I will mark these incidents on the map as I learn of them, Inquisitor. And I would be pleased to accompany you if and when you investigate.
Chyba normalnie więcej ciekawych
Do you have
na
any
temat.
advice for me?
Tell that demon, what does it call itself? Cole. Tell it to leave. He may not mean harm, but that does not mean he will not harm us. Spirits are not creatures to take at face value. Be cautious with him, Inquisitor.
Do you have any advice for me?
Treat Dorian with caution. It's possible he could be what he seems. A Tevinter mage wishing to do better than his countrymen. What if he is not? At best, his presence makes the Inquisition appear to have questionable allies.
That's enough for now.
Poleciał na
Another
razie.
time, then.
Tutaj jest byk. A tam pewnie będzie sera.
Someone
Trochę
left
brakuje.
sliced plums on the windowsill again. The juice is attracting flies. There are spiders everywhere. The plums were right in front of me, but I can't quite recall who took them.
Samson's letter caught, left on the fault of
Habot, kim jest Habot?
Inquisitor.
And you are?
The bartender. Cabin?
Just the bartender?
You were expecting...
Well, welcome to the Inquisition.
Thank you. Welcome to the tavern.
What's the current mood?
Turgid?
Where did you study? I assume you're trained.
In bartending? I'm no alchemist. You mix the bottles that don't taste like nug and you pretend to listen. I suppose I trained at home, during feast day family visits. My specialty is ale. Old Antivan recipe. The secret is ale.
You're a bit of a hard ass. Why are you here?
If I could fight, I'd be in a helmet. If I was a mage, I'd throw fire. And probably be dead. But I can't do anything. Just like the hundreds of people who can't do anything. Who make sure the thousands who can do something can do it. Besides, if you know a safer place than your castle, do share.
What's the word out there?
I hear the Arishak was replaced by the Arishak. But he'd better watch out. In the shadows, the Arishak.
As you were.
Inquisitor.
Możemy mieć wiele powiedzenia, ale to nawet było śmieszne.
Inquisitor.
Nie chcę.
As you were.
Do widzenia.
Inquisitor.
O. Kreml.
Inquisitor. That's got a good ring to it. We're happy to be here, Your Worship. You need anything, let me know.
We'll talk later.
I hope I can help somehow. Maybe cleaning?
Oh.
Inquisitor, I joined. Sutherland, Your Worship. I saw some bandits, so I came to warn people. I'll let your warriors know and then stay out of the way.
I'm telling you, I saw.
The champion. You say you saw the champion, and I'm supposed to...
Yes.
O, tu jest sera.
Hey, you. I have an Inquisitor favor to ask. Just a little thing, really. A little march around for some of your people. It's nothing for you, right?
I can't promise anything. We need every resource for the task at hand.
Everything has to have a purpose, right? Well, don't worry, this will too. It's a Red Jenny thing. I got a tip that some noble stiffs are arguing over Vershel. Land squabble. They're getting little people beat up. So I need you to go to your big table and send some people to walk through town.
Just walk through?
Just walk through. Easy, right?
Was this a tip from one of your friends?
Not a Jenny. Just normal angry people getting sick of being in the middle. I don't usually hear about things this far away. But having a friend like you is like getting really big ears. Bigger than normal, I guess, because we both... Never mind.
Who's asking for this?
I'm asking, because I heard people complaining. See, when nobles fight, it's not them, it's their little people stuck in the middle. It's like a polite war, so no one pays attention. But if you march through, the people up top feel threatened too. Stuff like this is always happening. Good sovereigns to be made if you're one of the few who notice.
What does the Inquisition get out of this?
Nobles think everyone is out to get them. So when your helmets march through, both sides will think the other's your ally. Both get scared, both make deals. Worst case, you get a little bump among the people just because they see you active. Can't promise anything, but something will happen. Just like always.
All right, Sarah. I'll have someone look into it.
It's fun, right? Being important without doing a thing. Well, not much of a thing. Not everything has to be torn skies and ancient arseholes. Every little thing makes a difference somewhere.
Okay.
Demon armies and wardens, and Varric has exactly who we need. The big talker just knows everything.
I'll be back if I need you.
Go on.
Czytałem to przecież. Dobra. Góra, jeszcze wyżej. O, jest skrzynka. Jest kol. Cel skrytobójcy. Ograniczenie tylko kol. A z kolem można pogadać chyba. Też z nim nie gadałem jakoś
was
więcej.
sorry before he died.
I wasn't aware you and Roderick were acquainted.
He was hurt. Red inside from the Templar, but red outside from the Templar too. Needed help to walk. Limping, light, leaning on me young like old Pepe when the road was icy. He called me a fine young man. He said he was sorry for what he did to you.
You didn't try to end his suffering, did you?
No. He was dying already, and he welcomed it. The pain wasn't too much. He saw it at the end. Loving light, open arms. Andraste taking him home. He was happy. And sorry.
Did he tell you why he was sorry?
Blood everywhere. Monsters, madness, dying. We're all dying. The Herald stands against it, and heads turn. Desperate and simple. Pure. Voices in the chantry. Years since I'd sung the song and felt it flowing through me. But this is real. This is real. So long since I'd felt it. Falling, flying, faith. And I fought her. Make her forgive me. I hope I did enough. He hates it all because of the darkness behind the door. Some doors should stay shut.
Can you explain how your mind works?
Yes?
It must be sad feeling everyone's pain all the time.
Why?
Isn't it?
No. I help. I find wounds and heal them. I salve, soothe, save. I see pain and make it better. How could I not be happy?
Walk me through the way you help someone.
I start by listening. I hear hurt, feel it fretting. Some you can solve by giving something, food, a blanket, sleep. Some are intangible, terrible tangles that catch on a crack, fixed, festering, and the person makes a pearl of pain. I shake it loose. No pearl, no pain. They can hope, they can heal.
Sometimes you say things that relate to other members of the Inquisition.
They remember me. Their eyes stick, some more. They want me to be. Varric is quiet inside. He pulls me more to hear, makes me a person, calls me kid, a friend. Soulless, bright and sad, observes and accepts. Spirit self, seeing the soul, soulless, but somehow sorrows.
What do you sense when you focus on me?
You're too bright. Like counting birds against the sun. The mark makes you more, but past it, you reach across. Mindful, meaning. You pull it through to this side, make it real here. And past that, the weight of all on you. All the hopes you carry, fears you fight. You are theirs. God. I hope I help.
I'll talk to you later.
Probably.
Dobra, z kolem nie ma co rozmawiać. Teraz skoczę, bo nie. Wyjście na górę jeszcze. Jeszcze na mury? A, jest przejście na mury. Kurczę. O, jest książka. Kurczę, no tak. O, tu można wejść. Tu. Zamówienia. O. Tutaj będą. No nie będę miał tego, mogę zrobić ogród. Tylko czy ja chcę zrobić ogród? Chyba nie.
Oh, Bells, it's you. Morris. Sir Morris, I suppose. I am serving as quartermaster for Skyhold and its arriving throngs. Stores are growing, and so long as we have fair coin to restock, you and yours will be well served.
What makes you ideal for this position? It's an important one.
My family has ties to several freehold militias, as well as cousins acting as officers in Ferelden and Orlais.
And your qualifications?
My family holds treaties with 3 new money Tevinter houses, and a rare Orzuma contract with a Paragon namesake.
And your qualifications?
To be honest, Your Worship, that was my question. I am the nexus of a dozen threads tied by others, designed to cast the widest and most appealing resource net. But I will rise to the occasion. Skyhold will want for nothing. I swear it.
The previous quartermaster survived Haven. Where is she?
She had views. Has views. Perfectly legitimate ones if you share them, Inquisitor. I believe it was felt that your quartermaster should be more palatable now that the Inquisition is in Orlais. She continues to serve, just not at the fore.
How's it going? Do we have what we need?
Our capacity increases, as do our requests to suppliers. I've had to threaten some contracts. It was exhilarating.
As you were.
We are here for you, Inquisitor.
Hmm. No dobra, jest już generalnie późno, a chyba nie ma już na razie więcej tutaj do roboty. Będzie pewnie więcej do zbierania, szukania itd., ale to najprawdopodobniej jutro. Cholera wie o której, ale raczej jutro. Więc na dzisiaj będzie to koniec. No tak, tam zrobiłem wszystko, tak. Tak. No i tu trzeba będzie do stołu zdecydowanie zrobić, wgrać tego moda, który darował czas, bo tego jest za dużo i nie chce mi się czekać. Realnie się logować, żeby tylko to robić, albo łazić tam tą chwilę. Więc najprawdopodobniej to po prostu wrzucę i to gdzieś wieczorem na pewno też będzie stream tego. No. To w takim razie dziękuję za oglądanie. Na razie.